What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Pens and Tea. My name is Carrie, and today we're going to be talking about a chocolate-covered almond flavored tea and a Parker Duofold Centennial from the 80s. This tea is one of the newer holiday range teas, and it is, spoiler, so good. Oh my gosh. Okay, it's called chocolate-covered almonds, and it says, "You'll go nuts for it." Oh, David's tea. It is a black tea. And you take about 1 teaspoon of it, I take 2 teaspoons, into your mug, and you let it steep for about 4 to 7 minutes. I let it go for about 5 to 5.5. The ingredients are cocoa nibs, roasted carob black tea, almonds, yerba mate or yerba mate, sugar, natural and artificial, chocolate, and cream almond flavoring. Warning, contains almonds. And oh man, this is so good. Whoa, too much. This, honestly, I was not expecting to like it when I first got it because I'm not usually a nut-flavored tea fan. Just isn't usually my cup of tea, pun intended. But this one I was pleasantly surprised with. The nut flavor is not very prevalent. It's nice in the background. So you taste it, but it's not like, bam, smack you in the face, like many others that I've had. So it's really pleasant. This one you definitely get chocolate first and foremost, and then you get kind of like a creamy flavor in with that, and then you get the almond. So I really enjoy it. It is a sweeter tea. So if you do not like sweet teas, this would not be one for you. There is technically a little bit of sugar in this mix already, but it's still deemed 0 calories per cup. So there isn't like a load of sugar, but still there is a bit in there. So if you don't like it, anyways, I would recommend picking this up. I really enjoy it. I got a tin here. Technically it has 55 grams, but you can buy it either in this tin or you can also buy it loose leaf for $8.98 per 50 grams. I would recommend it. I will be probably picking up another 50 before the holiday teas leave us, which I believe if I can follow suit on what they did last year and the year before that. They stopped making them towards the very end of December, early January, and then from there they just sell out. So some stores could carry it for months later. Some stores could be out right away, and the online store is different every year because it just depends. So if you're interested in picking it up, I would get it by the end of December latest. It is a holiday tea, so there you go. And the pen that we're going to be talking about today is a Parker Duofold Centennial. Now, if you remember, I have already spoken about a Parker Duofold Centennial in the ivory finish. That is one of the more modern ones. This is actually one of the very original ones. This was made in 1987 in the UK, about the second quarter of 87. And you can tell that because of the shorter clip from all of the other ones that were made in 87 and beyond. The newer ones and the even like the ones from the 80s, but newer than this, have a slightly longer clip. And of course, the original models from the 80s had a flat top and a flat end cap as well. And even around the band here, there's no tapering in. It's just completely flat. That's unlike the more rounded edges of the modern pens. So if you like the modern pens, then check out the other Centennial Duofold, which I'll put in the iCard somewhere, my review of that, because that is much more modern pen. But this one, like I said, is from 1987, made in the UK, which you will not be able to see, but it is etched ever so slightly just above the gold rings right here. And in fact, I can only see it if I have the right lighting. It is so faint. It just says Parker, made in UK, and then says PE, which essentially is the code for, being made in the second quarter of 87. So that's pretty cool. I bought this off of a buddy of mine, Gerald, who is also the same guy that let me borrow a bunch of his pens, including the other Parker. I was never a Parker fan. I hadn't really used Parker pens until he let me use his, and now, oh boy, I'm falling down the rabbit hole. I'm falling. But let's get to this pen because I've rambled on long enough. So we have a flat top at the top here, followed by the gold clip ring that comes down into the Parker arrow. And I'm sorry that my lighting keeps freaking out. Comes into the Parker arrow here, which, like I said, this clip is a little bit shorter than the modern ones and the other ones from the 80s, but still plenty long enough for what you need to do. It's definitely springy. I wish it had slight more tension, but for the most part, this is still pretty fantastic. Small gold ring followed by a larger gold ring. There is nothing etched in them at all. The body comes down basically, technically it comes down a little bit here, but virtually nothing. It's pretty much flat out until you get to the very end here where you have an ever so slight step down after these two gold rings. And this is just an end cap. It's not a piston fill or anything like that. And of course you have this beautiful blue marble material, which I wish I had better lighting, and I'm gonna get on it, I swear, but it's just the chatoyance that comes out of this, the depth of material is just beautiful. So uncapping, it is a screw cap. We have the nib. This nib is the original nib, as far as it being of the generation, so second quarter of 87. You can tell that because the modern ones, they do have a different design on the nib, but it will also say like the 18 karat gold 750 underneath, like just at the very bottom here. Whereas this nib, because it's the original, it actually has the information written on the sides of the nib, not underneath the arrow. So that's another good way to tell. The grip section here is solid black with kind of gold bands at both ends, and it does flare out ever so slightly at the end here, mainly to stop your fingers from sliding beyond. I think that it's a slightly small grip section, but really it feels nice. Very, very smooth. My thumb does sit on the threads, but the threads are extraordinarily smooth. You do not feel them. And there's just an ever so slight step here, but it's so rounded and so smooth that, again, I don't feel it. Unscrewing the body reveals the Parker proprietary cartridge converter. It will take Parker cartridges or, like I said, the proprietary converter. You cannot eyedropper this because this is all metal. So it does have to be the cartridge or converter option. And it posts, but not very deeply. You can still see the black from the end cap here. It's not going to fall off just with gentle kind of usage, but if you do whack it hard enough, it will. But it becomes pretty dang long if you post it. The Centennial is meant to be large enough where you don't need to post. So I do enjoy that. If you do have smaller hands, look for the international size. The international size is basically the same pen. It's just a little smaller, kind of like the Pro Gear Slim for Sailor versus the regular Sailor, 1911L versus regular. Basically same pen, just smaller and full size. So that's pretty cool. Basically, I love everything about this. It's very smooth. It's very reliable. I have had a little bit of hard starting with this one only because I have been a very bad fountain pen owner and have neglected cleaning this one for a little while. This has a KWZ Northern Twilight in it, which was the Toronto Scriptus 2016 ink. And I've been crazy busy with work, so I haven't touched this in a while, and it's just kind of been sitting there. So I have had a few hard starts because of that, but that's not pen related. That's just bad user related. The only other thing I would consider a downside with this is that pricing is who knows. Because they don't make these anymore, you are basically looking at buying used. and eBay pricing changes. I've seen it as little as $300 Canadian, which for Americans, that's even less. I've seen it as high as like 700 Canadian. So that's the only downside now, is that the availability is a little bit lower. But one thing, if you're really looking for it, I would try as hard as you can to get to any kind of pen show, because generally pen shows are going to be a little bit cheaper than buying retail, and can be cheaper than buying like eBay, Amazon kind of thing. But you can sometimes find more deals on eBay, but you also take the risk of, not knowing 100% about what you're getting. So that's the only downside, is that pricing is kind of hit or miss. But I really, really like it. I will probably continue adding to my Parker collection. But yeah, I'm going to shut up and I'm going to show you how this baby writes. Alright, so we have the Quick Brown Fox Jumps Over the Lazy Dog, medium nib, KWZ Northern Twilight ink, in the Parker Duofold. So these here do not exist. Like, kind of see how it like skips out slightly in the strokes here. That issue does not exist when you properly maintain the pen. As you can even see in between the tines here, I've been a very bad pen owner, and as soon as I'm done this review, I'm going to go clean it out, I promise. So yeah, this is what I mean by it's like skipping a little bit, but it does not do that when I properly maintain this pen. And so just be aware of that. As far as wetness goes, it's pretty decent. It's a medium nib, so it's going to put down a little more ink than a fine would. So that's definitely nice. Line variation. Certainly not a flex pen, but push comes to shove, you can get a little bit more, but nothing too grand. And for reverse writing, while it feels pleasant, nothing comes out. So you cannot reverse write with this. Like I said before, hard starts, skips, don't have them when I properly maintain this pen. But when it's kind of gunked up, definitely does happen every once in a while. But it's very, very smooth, which I really, really like. It's a medium nib, which I also really like. I also do enjoy the fact that this is one of the original nibs to go with it, because I don't know, I just like the fact that it's all put together. Would I recommend this pen? Abso-freaking-lutely. But guys, that's going to be it for me today. Any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, leave them in the comment section below. If you click on my username face in the middle here, you can subscribe to this channel. New videos come out every Monday and Friday, and the occasional Q&A on Tuesday. And guys, as always, thank you for watching. Hit that thumbs up button, and I will see you next time. Peace!